Hello, everyone. After 2 weeks, we are back with at odds with the Unbreakable Spirit.
And the executioner, Daniel Travis.
I thought it was fitting that we just did an audio recording this week because for 30 minutes we were talking about the man who you cannot see, John Cena, with a fan retrospective on his career since he unfortunately lost to Gunther in his final match,
Yes.
which I don't think Gunther should have been either the person or should have won that match.
Fair. But
But
also,
that's a topic for another time. This is us just talking about at least what we've experienced throughout John Cena's career, pretty much from 2009 to 2025.
yeah,
We did not watch wrestling 2008.
no. But my other thoughts are John had a hell of a wrestling career, had a lot of put on. For men that people say couldn't wrestle, had a lot of banger matches.
Yeah, and was good. See, well, Cena was good in the ring. I think he was even better on the mic, especially when he went off script.
Yeah, because I honestly wonder if it got to a point for WWE that they're just like, I mean, I don't really think like in the early stage of his career that WWE was probably severe on John about doing that. But in the late stages of his career, they're probably just like, yeah,
Or he
whatever.
eventually he open mic clause in his contract where he could just say whatever he wanted whenever he wanted. Like the time he roasted Roman Reigns and told him it took him 5 years to get a halfway decent promo and I'm about to shrink you down to size.
Yeah. Or also the time he poked fun at The Rock for having his wrestling promos on his wrist.
Hmm.
But
And I will touch on this. I do know one thing about before he watched wrestling. If it wasn't for Cena's mic skills and rapping capability, the WWE would have released him.
yeah, because John Cena even said, he's like, I had my debut handed to me on a silver platter. Even he thought it was kind of like, well, there I go.
Yeah, how many people can say they debuted in a professional wrestling match against a man who won a gold medal in wrestling Olympics with a broken freaking neck?
And then say, well, there goes my career. Okay, well, I've had a good run.
And not only that, you get props from The Undertaker after the match, who at the time, mind you, was the WWE champion.
Yes.
But back to when we started. We started watching arguably when Cena was the most in between the heel and face character, at least in crowd reactions, by the WWE Universe, aka the PG era.
Yeah, aka there that had one of the greatest debuts of all time in the Nexus
Yeah.
that didn't really end up
But
doing
it
it.
was also the same time period that had Zack Ryder become a broski. So hey, it's better than him being an egghead, right?
Yeah, but John over his career, he had a like well, yes, John did put over a lot of talent. People could also say he buried a lot of talent.
True. And I will warn people now, don't be surprised if we go out of order in this because that's just how our brains work.
Yes, but
And
overall,
the reason I bring that up now is, while yes, he buried a lot of talent, he also introduced new faces to the WWE universe. Like in, I don't even remember what year it was, but with the first U.S. title open challenge.
yes, because John Cena said that Vince didn't know what to do with him, and it was John's idea. Didn't he's like,
And yeah,
I
it
don't know.
introduced faces to the main roster, the people who only watched Raw or SmackDown, to people like Sami Zayn,
Kevin Owens.
various other people who I forgot because not really important and or released from WWE.
Yeah. But if there's one thing that John did have in all of these US Open title challenges is they weren't just like, okay, it's just gonna be an average match. It's like, no, sometimes it was the best match of the night.
Yeah, and sometimes the match didn't even happen because Kevin Owens attacked him prior to the match.
Yes. You also got some talent that got some serious rubs. Like, when you think about it, that one time in NXT, John Cena accompanied. They had a Carmelo Hayes and Paul Heyman have the were accompanying Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker at ringside that foreshadowed the vision before the vision even happened.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Maybe that was when Paul pitched the plan of putting the vision together to like pitch it to WWE creative.
Yeah, but now D- did John have a lot of good matches? Yes. Did John have a lot of boring matches? Also, yes.
Well, to be fair, he's been signed to WWE since like 2000, so
Maybe even
that's like a
maybe
quarter
even
of a
further.
century.
Maybe even further if you count, cuz he said 20, maybe even further when you think about, in like the 90s because, he was trained at the same time as Samoa Joe.
Yeah, but just because he was trained doesn't mean that he was in WWE at that time. They say he's been with WWE for 25 years. That would put him getting signed in OVW at 2000.
Yeah.
And also, now that I think about it, he was only in WWE's developmental territory for that time, Ohio Valley Wrestling, for 2 years before he made his debut.
Yeah.
Crazy to think about, you know?
Yeah. John also, oh yes, John did have a lot of great matches. He also, I gotta
Yeah,
say this.
you've already said he had a lot of great
Okay,
matches and a lot of boring matches. But what about his rivalry?
well, he's had a crap ton of iconic rivalries.
Most notably in my mind is the Viper Randy Orton,
Yeah, Edge, Randy, The Rock,
Triple H, Wade Barrett,
Wade Barrett,
Sheamus.
Umaga, Punk, a lot. But I
When
will,
we count Roman Reigns as a rivalry, they had like one match during Roman's title reign,
yeah, but they also had
or at
a
least
match.
one of Roman's title reigns.
Well,
And
they
maybe
had
I
it.
mean, actually, I don't think he was a
No,
champion.
hold up.
I'm talking like Bullet Vest era.
They wrestled each other at No Mercy.
Yeah, and Roman was not champion at that time.
No, and then they
He
also
wasn't even
wrestled.
tribal chief at that time. He was big dog,
Yeah, and then they wrestled each other again at the last time they wrestled each other was
which was what, Battleground?
no SummerSlam.
Right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but, okay. I want to talk like did like look randomly. I want to talk about John Cena's his heel run because this needs to be talked about. Was the heel run bad? No.
Was it short? Too
Duh.
short to be exact. Yes.
Yes, but I will say the brilliant part of John Cena's heel run that I don't really think people honestly talk about is when we were like, oh, shit, John Cena's heel, we're gonna get new theme, new music, new gear. That's the most brilliant thing, where it's just like, nah, I'm gonna change nothing.
In fact, I'm gonna have my trunks being even more bland with just a black background with my name on it.
That's kind of the like that's when John Cena said in his first heel promo. He's like, "You get nothing."
Yeah, he broke a lot of kids' hearts that night, and nobody cared because we wanted a heel Cena for years.
Yeah. Now,
And for
okay.
those who think John's no longer with WWE, he has signed a 5-year ambassador deal. I'm pretty sure after that ambassador deal, maybe we'll get a nostalgia deal.
Yeah. Okay. The one thing I will say is about John Cena's heel run that I will say yeah, sure, we got some iconic, we got some rival, we got some one more matches, but and the one thing I wish we got in this John, cuz I've actually heard John Cena publicly talk about this. You know how this year he worked 36 days? That was it.
Hmm.
John Cena wanted to do like this is seriously something John Cena said. He wanted to do 220.
So he want the farewell tour to be a lot longer.
Yeah, John, he's he's like said that he's like, I don't want to do 36 days. I want to do. He's like, I want to put a break on everything and just do a full calendar year.
So the only day, so if John had got what he wanted, he would have only not appeared on 145 potential appearances.
Yeah, I will say, did I wish that John Cena had a match with Braun Breaker or like did I? I'm just gonna say this about John Cena's heel retirement tour is did I wish that we had John Cena have, a mix of John Cena wrestling up and comers as well as nostalgia matches? Yes.
There's
That's what
one
I would have
match
liked.
that didn't happen on the, yeah. I will say there's one match that did not happen on this retirement tour that I wish did happen, and that is we finally get the rubber match between John Cena and The Rock.
Yeah, because, dude, because when you think about it, like I saw this thing online on Instagram a while ago of like John Cena, like, it's John Cena's final match. He announces, he's like, I'm done. The Rock comes out and he's like, no, 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 John. You sold your soul to me.
Yeah, because let's be real. If John wanted to, he probably could keep going, but with his acting career, he needed to make a choice.
I don't really think it had anything to do with his. I don't think John's retirement had anything to do with that. He just felt like his body couldn't really do it anymore.
Handle it anymore.
Yeah, that he said this in interviews that he felt when he was getting a step slower that he's like, okay, it's time for me to wrap it up.
And yet Randy Orton, who probably got signed around the same time as him, is still kicking.
Yeah, and hell, for all we know, Brock Lesnar could retire next year at SummerSlam.
As long as he doesn't win a squash match for his final match, I'd be okay with him retiring tomorrow.
But it's also crazy. Yeah, I will say, like, regarding John, like, speaking of John, is did John have some amazing matches in his retirement tour? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would find it hard, except for like the match against Brock Lesnar, to find one bad match in his retirement tour.
Yeah. He had a good match with Randy because Randy.
Of course, Randy
He had another good match with
Styles.
nope, before that it was Punk.
Like I said, we're not gonna go in order in this episode.
Yeah, 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 he had Styles, Punk, Logan Paul, which I mean, Logan Paul could just bring out a good match to anybody.
Yeah, but then he teamed with Logan.
Oh yeah, he did. He teamed with
And of
Logan,
course, who can
face
forget the WrestleMania? Yeah, and who can forget the when he won his team world championship against the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes.
yeah, which all of us were John played a lot more of a slow, methodical where John Cena was just
He still had the rally tower, he just didn't throw it to the crowd, he just, like wish I had something to
place.
use it with, he just, like, grabbed it and flipped it over his head.
Yeah, yeah, he had uh, a crazy and a good street fight with Cody, and then Lesnar returned, which was unexpected.
Yeah,
Then he had a match
because
like
we
he's
thought he had been blacklisted because of all the stuff that
Vince.
is not relevant to the situation.
Yeah, then he had a banger. He wrestled Logan, wrestled Lesnar, had a banger with Styles.
Because they also always had good chemistry.
And the crazy part is, and I don't know if people realize this, but they were tied in victories against each other going into that match.
Before that match. Yeah. So we did get a rubber match, just not the rubber match that I thought we would get.
Yeah, he also wrestled Sammy once, one more time.
Yeah, you were about to mention Dominic, which keep in mind, Cena is a Grand Slam champion.
Yes, that and because
And he
also
didn't become that until until like what, his last Raw in Boston or
second.
something?
Yeah, his last Raw in Boston where and then he lost it. Okay, that was kinda like the weird thing where it was like, "Okay, great, John Cena's a Grand Slam champion," but, I also question, like, "Wait, so let me get this straight. You have John Cena become Grand Slam champion just to lose the title to the same guy that he beat for the title instead of giving it to another star to elevate another talent, you give it to the same talent.
Well, to be fair, Dominic thrives on heel heat.
Yeah, that is true. And then he had his match with Gunther, which, look, don't get me wrong. Was Gunther not the right person? Absolutely. But was Gunther gonna get a hell of a match out of John Cena for his final match?
Gunther
Absolutely.
can get a hell of a match of anyone. I just think the wrong person won. I
But
know Cena's like technically like an old school guy where he wants to go out on his back, but they could at least have him had him pass out instead of tap out.
But also, when you think about it as like a character wise, is that if John Cena didn't lose his final match, you would have not get that great reaction to the first like 15 minutes of Monday Night Raw this past Monday.
Yeah, I will say everyone at the NXT house show on December 13th in Columbia, which is where I was, who saw the John Cena tap out, was not happy.
Okay, anyway, back on it. But did now could have John did in the recent years, like the years he started like slowing down his yeah, sure, we got a match with him and Undertaker at Mania, even though Undertaker I heard Undertaker say this where he spent like, months getting ready to have like a long banger of a match with John Cena just for him to be told, no, I want you to squash John. And he's like, what? He's like, what? You and me? He's like, he was preparing himself to have a long banger of a match just to be told, no.
And you're talking about when Undertaker fought Cena at WrestleMania, right?
Yes. He was like, he was preparing himself
Considering
for
the
a
past
war.
few years Undertaker had to be carried out of the arena, I know it's not really good for Cena's character. Undertaker is on a whole different level at WrestleMania.
Yeah. It was like, what? I was preparing myself for a war, not to squash somebody.
I'm not Brock Lesnar.
Now, okay, since we got like 1 more minute left, who do you think could have been John Cena's final opponent that was not Gunther?
I would have done like since we heard that Braun Breaker is supposed to be like this big name in the Netflix era and he's barely done anything. Braun Breaker.
Yeah, true. But I guess him being a part
Like,
of
they should have used it to build up a new star instead of just making Gunther the career killer.
yeah, and then he did also wrestle. Yeah, that's true. I guess they're trying to protect Braun Breaker. I guess since that's why he's part of the Vision. But to be fair,
Yeah,
he's wrestling on the Netflix anniversary.
1 year anniversary.
Yeah, the 1 year anniversary for the world title. Could he win it? Possibly. Could also he get screwed? Also, possibly.
Considering he has Paul Heyman, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory backing him up,
Maybe.
I don't see that happening.
Unless Austin Theory's working. Alright, yeah, that's all I got. Alright. I think we can wrap this
Yeah,
episode.
and with that, we close the book on the John Cena chapter of WWE because January 5th, 2025, first Raw of January 5th, 2026, the first Raw of the new year will be the first full year of WWE without John Cena as an active member of the roster. Thank you,
Peace.
Cena. Enjoy retirement. I hope you have a nostalgia deal so we can still play with you on WWE video games.
Bye.
Next week, people will see
Yeah.
you then.